So, guys, Ipswich Town 1, Manchester United 1. Your full-time reaction from Portman Road this evening on match day 12 of the 24-25 Premier League season, in which it was such a good start from Ruben Amorim's new Manchester United. After 81 seconds to take the lead so early on and not to build on the lead and to be the best and to be the worst team out of both sides today. I'm really, really disappointed by the way Manchester United went in front in that game. And the response when you get the lead is completely non-existent. I'm not surprised we didn't win that game today because the start we made was quite fast. It was quite impressive. It was quite an emphatic start with Ruben Amorim now at the wheel for Manchester United managing this football club. And it was such a good start. It was so much positivity. There was so much excitement from today's game. And I really, really expected quite an emphatic Manchester United win. And I was expecting quite a good start from Ruben Amorim. And again, it's the same old players. It's the same old mistakes. It's the same old lackadaisical football. It's the same old players that will continue to let this side down. And I really do feel for Ruben Amorim, and I'm not completely blaming him for today's result. I really wanted a good start, and I really wanted Manchester United to come out the blocks and start making a statement of intent under this new manager, which is a completely different style of play. It's a new setup. It's a new formation. And obviously, the message we're getting is it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Unfortunately, time is not on our side anymore. And Ruben Amorim has even said himself, we haven't got time anymore. We can't afford to be patient. We have to start making improvements straight away. And I thought we did that in 81 seconds. I thought the 3-4-3 setup was okay for a start, but I thought the response from Ipswich was absolutely fantastic. I thought the demeanour of their style of play, I thought their response after they went 1-0 down was absolutely emphatic. And I thought Manchester United really, really took their foot off the pedal after they went 1-0 up. I didn't really see Manchester United really go to win this game and try to close this game quite early on. I thought Man United's response from the 1-0 lead, I thought it would have sparked us into life. And I thought Manchester United were very, very lazy. I didn't see Man United respond well when we went 1-0 up. And I mean, 81 seconds in, it's an okay start. It's not a start you normally expect Man United to get in the lead so early on. But what happened after that was just let Ipswich at us. Just let Ipswich continue to attack us. And we'll try and break them on the counter-attack. And okay, we're in a new setup. We're using a new formation. And it's a completely different style of play from managers of before. But I honestly thought these Man United players would have picked this up quite early. It's a new start. It's a new regime. It's a completely different way of playing. And again, it's another new manager. But I just thought Man United players didn't respond well to the changes. I didn't see that togetherness. I didn't see that group cohesion. I didn't see those players really step up. And I don't know why we took our foot off the pedal when we went 1-0 up, because obviously you've got Amad Diallo in the right wing-back position, and the way he was able to take on both those Ipswich Town players and get past both of them and sit them both down on their ass was absolutely brilliant, brilliant play from Amad Diallo. And obviously we know Amad Diallo is quite traditional with his left foot, that his left foot is the stronger foot out of both of them. And obviously it's a brilliant, brilliant low-time cross from Amad, and obviously Marcus Rashford has timed the run to perfection and has obviously got us the lead in side 81 seconds. And again, you would have thought that would have sparked Manchester United into life, but I thought Ipswich Town's response was absolutely emphatic. They really, really, really went for us. And I thought they were dominating the play. They were dominating the possession. They had more of the better chances. They had more of the better play. There was a lot more togetherness in that Ipswich Town team, and everyone knew their job. Everyone knew what to do to get at that Man United team. And I don't think Man United players were there. I thought we were miles off the level what I was expecting us to be today, because there's been so much positivity. There's been so much togetherness. There's been so much happiness since Ruben Amorim's been brought in. And I just did not expect us to play the way we did today. It was so disappointing. But Again, it is early stages. It's only game one under Amram. Obviously, it will take time, but how much time is it going to take? How long is it going to take to start seeing Man United back to the level that we need to be? How long is it going to take for this football club to be anywhere near where we want this football club to be at? Because if we play like that for the rest of the season and we use the same players that got another manager sacked, how many more of those players are going to do exactly the same to Ruben Amorim and throw him under the bus and then get him sacked? That is my big concern today. And I think, Ruben Amorim, to an extent, I thought did make a lot of problems. I think he did make quite a few mistakes with that team today. I'm sorry, but I'm not convinced by that lineup. I wasn't keen on the players he picked today. And I was very unsure how Man United were going to get at Ipswich today, because when you get the lead 81 seconds in, you think to yourself, there's a huge opportunity to get this game won quite early on. Let's build on the 1-0 lead. Let's try and get out Ipswich. Let's try and find that second goal. And we simply couldn't do it. There was no attacking threat as soon as we went 1-0 up. The attacking threat went out the window. And I don't know if it's down to the formation. I don't know if it's down to the setup. I don't know if it's the way we're trying to play. But where was the attacking threat after the first goal? Where was Manchester United's attacking threat? Where was that threat of trying to get at that Ipswich goal? For me, it was non-existent the whole rest of the game. I thought Man United's attacking play went completely out the window. And it's like we didn't know what to do again. And again, that is quite concerning from a Man United fan point of view. You build on that lead. You try and find that second goal. Let's try and get in at 2-0 at half time. And let's then try and find the third goal in the second half to finish this off. And again, when you don't find that second goal, and as long as it stays at 1-0, Ipswich Town were definitely still in that game. They were definitely going to try and find that equaliser, and they certainly did. Man United could not cope with that Ipswich Town team after the first goal. I don't know why Man United took their foot off the pedal. It just looked very lethargic. It looked like the players got too highly emotional when we got that early goal. And it's like they went back into their old self again of thinking, let's see Ipswich attack us, and then let's try and break them on the counter-attack. But in fact, it was full guns blazing from Ipswich Town. I mean, the amount of problems their front three create is quite frankly embarrassing, because that's 4 points in 2 games that Ipswich have now picked up against Tottenham with the 3 points away from home. And now they've achieved a great point at home to Manchester United as well. That's a huge result for Ipswich. And it's a huge point towards another step towards Premier League survival. I just didn't expect that Ipswich Town team to respond as well as they did. And I mean, their front three, who I give full credit to, created the best amount of chances for Ipswich the whole game. Their front three of Sammy Smodics, Delap and Hutchinson absolutely terrified that Man United back four. And I'm quite surprised how scared we were defensively. I couldn't believe the standard of the defending. And I couldn't believe how many times Johnny Evans, De Ligt and Mazraoui were allowed to be attacked by that Ipswich Town front three. And again, you look at the space when the left wing back's out of position and the right wing's back's at the position. Every time Ipswich Town got forward with the ball, you look at the attacks and you look at the opportunities that they were creating. Something needed to change to stop those Ipswich Town attacks from happening. And no one decided to change anything up. I don't know why we stuck to our ways in the second half. I thought something needed to change quite dramatically. And for me, I thought the response from the substitutions was, again, I don't get, in my view, I don't get why that team contained Johnny Evans. I don't know why that team contained Delo. And I don't really understand why that team contained Mazraoui today. because I think that team alone was really, really weak defensively. I thought both wing backs wasn't really helping the situation. And I felt the front three, even though you've had quite a good start to the game, it's brilliant play from Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, and obviously Rashford to find the goal. All three of them do combine to get the 1-0 lead. And you think to yourself, let's build on that. Let's try and get the second goal, finish them off in the second half. Let's build on this momentum. Let's build on this good start. Let's try and get Ipswich Town buried, because if you go 1-0 down in 81 seconds, surely that is going to be the pattern of play. Surely it's going to be non-stop Manchester United dominance in both halves of the game. And the response from Man United, like I said a few minutes ago, was completely non-existent. I just couldn't believe Man United allowed Ipswich Town to get back in that game so easily. It's like the emotions and the hype got to those Man United players very, very early on. And they wanted to get a good start to try and build on where it's all gone wrong from the few previous games under Eric Ten Hag. And I think today, it's a huge, huge learning curve for Ruben Amorim. I think he's going to learn quite a lot about where the problems are in that team. But I think, he is the one picking the players. He's the one picking that team. He is the one having to go with players that he's probably deep down knows aren't good enough. And if he knows they aren't good enough and he's having to use them, because, again, my problem is, are we going to start seeing the injury excuse? Because, again, we've only now got really one fit centre-back now, because Maguire is still injured. Lindelof got injured on international duty. And I don't get how all of a sudden Lisandro Martinez has come back from international duty and has now picked up a back problem. He didn't feature for Argentina at all on the international break. He didn't kick a ball for Argentina in the last 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, he's come back, and all of a sudden, miraculously, he's now got this back problem. I don't understand from the last game against Leicester to the 24th of November, in these last 2 weeks, you've got to consider how the hell Lisandro Martinez has picked up that back injury in 2 weeks. That, for me, was the biggest problem inside that back three today. That back three did not look comfortable. The amount of times Mazraoui, De Ligt and Johnny Evans got that ball and decided to play it back to Onana to then get Nard to play it back to them. The amount of times we did that through that whole 94 minutes. I couldn't believe that, in my view. I couldn't understand why we are still continuing to play the ball back to Onana for Onana to then hoof it long. I don't understand why we are still doing that, because it wastes so much time. It wastes so much preparation when you've got those three continuing to play it back to Onana just for them to get the ball back and then play it back to Onana for them to hoof it long. I don't understand why Man United's back three did that. And again, the back three does not look comfortable in that 3-4-3 setup. And again, that's a big worry, because that's the formation and the setup that Ruben Amorim wants to go with. But if you've got those problems already after one game and those three aren't comfortable next to each other, then there's big problems. But again, Lisandro Martinez should not have been sent on international duty knowing he had an issue, a hip injury, what we all got told. And all of a sudden now, I've now got a back problem. I think Man United really need to start laying down the law. If players aren't fit and they're injured and they're not 100% fit to go on international duty, they need to start telling the respective countries and their managers that these players are not fit. They've got a problem. We are not sending them on international duty. We are keeping them in Manchester because they are not fit to play for you. There's going to waste so much time for them travelling when they're not going to be able to play. They're not 100% fit. We are not sending them out to you. They are staying here, rehabilitating and getting back fit, and you can have them on the next international duty in March in 2025. Why Man United didn't put their foot down and decided to keep Martinez back from Argentina is an absolute fucking disaster. Because without Martinez next to it, you've got the incapable of Johnny Evans, who is retirement home FC, who is so slow, so lethargic, and has got no pace, no aerial ability, and a defence of a bloody slow snail. Why was that a good idea to start De Ligt and Jonny Evans together next to Mazraoui inside that back three? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any logical sense for me to play those three together. I don't understand why Ruben Amorim did that, because I thought that made our defence look so weak. De Ligt doesn't look comfortable with Evans, and Evans does not look comfortable with De Ligt, because De Ligt is more used for Martinez, and Martinez is more used to De Ligt. Without Martinez in that back three, we don't have any defence. We don't have a back three now. And again, you see YORO back in training and apparently was meant to be starting today's game for Manchester United against Ipswich Town and make his Premier League debut. And all of a sudden, he's now not in the squad, which again, has YORO picked up another injury, or is YORO not ready? Because if he's back in training and he's fit and he's ready, there's not any excuse Man United can hide behind, in my view, stating, well, YORO's not fit. He's not really ready to play yet. We want to save him maybe for the Europa League game on Thursday and then get him back in through that way. I don't think that's good enough, because that back three was vulnerable at so many times in that game. The way Delap and Omari Hutchinson had that back three in their pocket and the amount of chances that they had inside Manchester United penalty area is unfucking believable. The amount of attacking opportunities that came through Sammy Smodics, Delap, and Omari Hutchinson, the way that back three were allowed to be attacked by the three attacking players of Ipswich, that was because they saw the vulnerability and they saw the weaknesses inside that back three, knowing Jonny Evans made so many mistakes today. Like, I don't know how he's still at this football club. I don't know how he's still playing. And I don't understand why he got picked today. Because if you're looking at it from a positive, you look at the amount of players we had back on our bench today. Luke Shaw and MALACIA were both back from injury, both back on the bench, both available to play, both available to pick. One of those two should have started that game. And at the end of the day, people will say, well, they're not ready. They can't be selected yet. They've got to be given time. I'm really sorry to say, if players are fit and if a player is ready to come back straight in, then you've got to put them in that team. But again, you risk then putting Malice and Shaw straight back in, knowing they could both pick up an injury and then get injured again, and then we are without a left back once again for the rest of the season. And it's good that they're both back, and it's both good that they are back from their injuries, and it's good to see them back and on the pitch again. But again, I thought that was a big problem, not having one of those two next to De Ligt to help support that back three, because we were all over the shop. We were absolutely so defensively clueless how to keep that Ipswich Town front three quiet. They were having an absolute field day. Like, the attacking opportunities were coming at Man United so quick, and Jonny Evans didn't know what to do. He can't cope at that pace anymore. He is so slow. He puts in so many tackles. He gives so many stupid free kicks away. And every time he gets the ball, or every time he tries to defend a threat, he either puts it out for a corner, puts it out for a throw-in, or he ends up having to pass it back to Onana just to hoof the ball on. I'm sorry, we can't be using Jonny Evans anymore. I don't care if we've not got Maguire. I don't care if we've not got Lindelof. Neither of them are good enough either. I think if you had YORO starting that game today next to Lit and Mazraoui, that back three would have been so much more comfortable, so much more resilient, so much more defensively solid with all three of them inside that 3-4-3. But no, we have to go with the experience of Jonny Evans because we used that in the setup and the training periods before this game. I'm sorry, I thought Jonny Evans defensively really cost us today, because that front three of Ipswich had a field day. On to the midfield. Again, what makes me laugh, what really makes me laugh, is that we've gone with this 3-4-3, hoping it absolutely works miracles and it turns Man United into prime Sporting Lisbon. No disrespect here, but I thought the 3-4-3 setup did not work, in my view. I thought the midfield was so fucking lethargic today. the quality and the difference from the Leicester game to today is so night and day. I couldn't believe how bad that midfield actually is. You've got Casemiro and Eriksen as your two main midfielders starting that game ahead of Mason Mount and ahead of KOBBIE MAINOO, who was also back from injury. Why are neither of those two starting that game, or even UGARTE to an extent? Why are neither of those three getting ahead of Eriksen? Why are neither of those three getting ahead of Casemiro? Because the quality of the midfield from the Leicester game to today is so night and day. The lack of quality was clear to the naked eye in so many aspects of that game. We couldn't control the midfield. We couldn't build up play through the midfield too. And trying to get the ball to the front three of Garnacho, Bruno and Rashford, again, we couldn't get the ball forward because the midfield was getting absolutely overrun by two midfielders that, again, have not really played together for the last 3 games in a row. And all of a sudden, we've decided to chuck Eriksen back in and keep Casemiro in that midfield too, with the 2 wing backs either side, which, again, that did not help because the extra midfielder would have been a lot more handy in front if you would have had Bruno in front of Casemiro and in front of Eriksen. I don't know why we went with that midfield pair. I'm really, really baffled to see what Ruben Amorim comes out with, why Eriksen and Casemiro get ahead of MAINOO and Mount and UGARTE. I'm really, really puzzled because we've really missed MAINOO. Mason Mount hasn't been given a look in except for the last 5 to 10 minutes. And UGARTE, who we are fully expecting to be starting every game now because of the experience he's had with Ruben Amorim in the past at Sporting Lisbon, we're now really fully expecting UGARTE to be one of the first midfielders and the first name on the team sheet, knowing he's had that experience before of working with Amorim at Sporting. You would have thought he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet starting in that midfield. And I think, again, today, the quality without him is so poor. Without UGARTE, we don't have a midfielder. We don't have that resilience. We don't have that strength. We don't have that dignity of someone that we feel so confident in the midfield too with. I thought the midfield was so lacking that experience, that quality, that solidarity. I thought the midfield was absolutely at 6s and 7s because we were getting overrun by 3 Ipswich midfielders against 2. They had the extra man in the Ipswich midfield 3 supporting the other 2. And knowing Man United were playing with 2 wing backs and with only 2 midfielders, I don't think the midfield had any support off the wing backs. I don't think that worked, in my view. I don't think that really worked. I thought, again, that was quite poor. I thought that was quite clear to the naked eye. The midfield too had no support because Ipswich had that extra midfielder to be able to get more of the attacking play for Ipswich in the midfield extent for Ipswich to get the ball forward against our 2 midfielders, because without a third midfielder supporting Casemiro and without supporting Eriksen, Man United left so much fucking space in front that we couldn't really get that ball to the extra midfielder that, in my view, we could have really done with that today. And I think that is why Casemiro and Eriksen were miles off it. And again, their age isn't helping them. I don't think their age is helping them. I think Ipswich are trying to build a younger and hungrier team to be able to come up against 2 overage players that I thought really weren't benefiting Man United's midfield going forward today. And I thought the amount of mistakes and the amount of loose balls and the amount of loose passes that Casemiro and Eriksen were giving away, and the amount of times they lost possession, and the amount of times that they were getting overran by so many Ipswich players coming in for tackles, and then look at the extent of the attacks that were building up from Casemiro and Eriksen's mistakes. They were lacking so much quality without that third midfielder in front of them. I wouldn't have started those 2. I really, really would not have started those midfield two. I would have brought MAINOO straight back in, and I would have brought UGARTE in as well. I think that would have been such more sensible partnership to go with, and a lot more quality defensively, and a lot more quality going forward to help get that ball forward to our wing backs in Mazraoui and Ahmad. And then you also ended up having to shift. No, because we had Mazraoui inside the back three. We had Ahmad and Delo on the left wing back and on the right wing back. And again, I thought putting Delo at left wing back again was another favourite of Ten Hag, was another favourite of getting in the team every week. I thought playing Delo at left wing back was an absolute joke. You had Malaccia available. You had Luke Shaw available. Why is Delo all of a sudden getting so much game time? And again, I thought Delo was shocking today. I thought defensively shocking, going forward even worse. His passing today, that is the worst I've seen Delo's passing at a very, very, very long time. I don't know why Delo's passing was so bad today, but it was absolutely got worse. And again, the amount of connection play he tried to get with Garnacho and Eriksson, and the amount of time they tried to play in this little triangle three. Who gave the ball away the most? Delo. Who lost possession? Delo. Because you look at the gaps and you look at the space that was allowed for Omari Hutchinson to attack on Ipswich right wing. It was unbelievable how much space Delo left at left wing back. And again, that's a telltale sign of that left wing back is a problem because you're playing a right footer there. You should have chucked Luke Shaw straight back in. You should have chucked Malaccia straight back in. That would have been a lot more solid if you would have been able to put a proper left-footed left wing back at left wing back to be able to defend better and to be able to get more forward to help support the front three. And again, because we are playing with no left winger and no left wing, a left wing and a right winger now. We're playing a triangle attacking three. So you've got Rashford here, Garnacho here, and then you've got Bruno here. So you've got this little triangle like that, and they're all trying to, attack that Ipswich goal. But again, when we try to play the ball up to either of them, look at the space on the left wing that no one was there. Look at the space on the right wing because we've got no right winger. We're playing with two wing backs now. And again, like I said, the best bit of play comes through our first goal from the right wing back in Ahmad. I think without Ahmad's intervention, without Ahmad's quality to take those Ipswich Town players on, that moment of glory wouldn't have happened so early on. And I think that was probably the biggest problem. We didn't expect to get in the lead that early, and we probably wanted to try and go for it. But again, when there's so much space being left in our area defensively, as well as letting Omari Hutchinson and Delap and Sammy Smodics have a field day in Ipswich Town front three, and the back three are struggling to be able to defend against that attacking quality, you are then going to create yourself problems. And I think, that wasn't supported by the wing backs. When you leave that amount of space, you are going to get attacked. You are going to cause yourself defensive problems. That, for me, was the telltale sign of the game. Ipswich were miles better. They didn't deserve to lose that game. They deserve a point. And do you know what? They could have won it. I think if Onana wouldn't have saved the Delap shot inside the first half when Delap hit it straight at Onana. I mean, I'm glad Onana put his foot and put his leg out, because if that goes in before half-time, it's 1-1. And then you worry about going in at half-time 2-1 down. So it kept us in the game. And then what really annoyed me, it comes through the equaliser. You give the ball to Omari Hutchinson on their right wing. We know what he can do. We saw it all last season in the Championship. The amount of problems and the amount of creative opportunities that Omari Hutchinson delivers pure quality in that Ipswich Town front three. It was a smart move leaving Chelsea to get that move to Ipswich on a permanent deal. And I'm glad for Omari Hutchinson's career, because he's a fucking good player. And the amount of time he had Evans in his pocket, Delo in his pocket, But what annoys me is it comes through the equaliser. It really, really comes through the Ipswich Town equaliser. It's a lack of defending. It's a lack of anyone trying to close down the shot. And there's not one fucking Man United player attempting to put their body on the line to block the shot. It really infuriates me when you give Omari Hutchinson that amount of time and that amount of quality to be able to deliver what he did for Ipswich. It annoys me. You've got Ericsson, Casemiro, Marcus Rashford, Johnny Evans, and Mazraoui all round the area of where Omari Hutchinson puts the equaliser in from. You've got all 5 of them round Omari Hutchinson on the edge of the Man United penalty area. Outside the box, you've got 5 of them there ready to at least try and close down Omari Hutchinson's shot. Not one of them decides to block the shot. No one puts their body on line, and they allow him all that time with the ball. And they just stand there and let Omari Hutchinson have a free shot on goal. But what annoys me, people are waxing lyrical. Oh, what a fantastic goal. What a great goal. What a bit of quality. Yeah, it was a good goal to an extent. But if you go back and watch the goal, look at those 5 trying to not close it down. Look at those 5 players there not ready to block the shot, not ready to put their body on the line. Not one of them's trying to win the ball back. I can't believe no one's putting a tackle in. Like, that for me is so fucking lazy from those 5 alone to allow Omari Hutchinson that amount of time with the ball. You've got to try and win this ball back because we've seen him in so many aspects of that game today. He gets at your back 4. We absolutely shit ourselves. Every time Hutchinson got the ball, United sat back. They let him attack us and we tried to break them on the counter-attack. And again, this is what I don't get. This is what I am struggling to understand, is if you give Omari Hutchinson that time and you give him that quality, that's what he's going to do. And again, we're absolutely waxing lyrical. Oh, what a great goal. What a fantastic goal. But if you go back and watch the goal, Johnny Evans just stands there. Marcus Rashford is behind Omari Hutchinson and just stands there. Ericsson's at the left of Ericsson's at the left of Marcus Rashford and just stands there and flaps his arms about like thinking, why have that been allowed to happen? You've got Casemiro just watching the shot go in. And, you know, you've got Mazraoui, again, his body positioning. He's in the wrong fucking position inside our own penalty area. But what he decides to do, which for me, if he wouldn't have did what he did, this might not have gone in. Onana might have been able to save it. And the problem is, again, Mazraoui is in the eyesight of Onana. And if you get that, and if this is Onana and this is Mazraoui, and Mazraoui is like that, covering Onana completely, if he's covering him and Onana's here, Mazraoui's here, is he on eyesight? Where's Onana meant to see? I think if Mazraoui wouldn't have put himself in that position, that wouldn't have gone in. But what he decides to do, Omari Hutchinson has hit the ball, he's hit the shot. But Mazraoui's leaped like a fucking frog, he's leaped like a fucking salmon, and decides to put a header from the shot off his head, and it's ended up in the top corner because he's leaped up forward with the ball already left the left foot of Omari Hutchinson, the shot. He's then leaped forward, he's leaped in the box to try and head it away, and he's leaped up and the ball's gone over Onana's hand and he's ended up in the top bins. Like, I can't understand why Mazraoui has decided to leap. I don't understand why he's decided to jump for the ball to try and, you know, block the shot. Yeah, you've got to block the shot, but at least try and block the shot in the right and the correct defensive way to prevent this ball from going over Onana's hand and into the top corner. You ain't going to stop it. And that, again, that would have been saved if Mazraoui would have got into the correct position inside the penalty area. I don't know why he's decided to jump. I mean, you're not a kangaroo. Like, you can't be jumping against a player's shot who's trying to hit the top bins, because if it takes a deflection off your head, if it skins off the top of your forehead, the ball's going to end up in the back of the net. And again, it is a good goal, but it is taken a massive, massive deflection. And again, you know, Onana, to an extent, has been massively unlucky to let that in because of Mazraoui's poor defensive work inside the penalty area. You needed to stop and think, really, what do I need to do inside the penalty area? I've got to try and somehow do something to prevent this from going in. But unfortunately for Mazraoui, when you've got a useless Johnny Evans, a lazy Marcus Rashford, an inconsistent Eriksen, and an inconsistent fucking Casemiro, who are all too afraid and too pussy to actually try and block the effort in the first place, or, you know, try to put their body line, or at least try and put some effort in to block the shot, or to try and put a tackle in and win the ball back. When you get a chance like that outside the United penalty area and you've got a quality player like Omari Hutchinson ready to hit it, you cannot let him do it. But unfortunately, when we've got lazy FC in this fucking dressing room with certain players who are already trying to throw Amorim under the bus and trying to absolutely screw his United managerial career up, this is what you're going to have to put up with. This is the same players that got Ten Hag sacked, that got Solskjaer sacked, that got Ragnick dismissed, Mourinho sacked, Van Gaal sacked, Moyes sacked. Like, how many more players are going to do this to the manager? How many more of these let down players is football club going to allow to ruin another manager's career? I really feel sorry for Amorim because we had such a good start and we have such good positivity and everyone's really excited for this new regime. And all of a sudden, after one game, there's going to be the Amorim out parade. The Amorim out bands are going to get their drums, are going to bang their drums saying this isn't fucking good enough and all this. Yeah, it wasn't good enough. We didn't deserve to win. Ipswich were miles the better team and they deserve to get a result. It's just unfortunately when you've got the same players that have got so many managers sacked before that are getting their opportunity to prove themselves again. Welcome to this is what's going to carry on happening if you've got lazy fucking players that don't give a fuck, who can't be asked to defend, who can't be asked to try, who can't be asked to put a block in, can't be asked to make a run, can't be asked to put a tackle in. Like, this is what's happening at this football club. We have got players that are not fucking good enough, but we are still using them. And this is the problem. Amorim is going to suffer the same fate in 2 to 3 years with this lot. I'm afraid to say after one game, I absolutely fear for Amorim. I really, really fear because I think he's the right manager. I think he's the right appointment. And I'm still very excited to see what he can do. But knowing he's got to use certain players and knowing that half of them ain't good enough, I think he's going to need miracles. I think it is going to take something huge to get us back to where we need to be because there's too many players here that have had their opportunity, have had their chance, and they're outstaying their welcome. Like, that team selection should have been better. It's a fair point. That is on Amorim. He did pick the players. He picked that team to go with against Ipswich today, and he should have got that better. But again, when we've got players that are in a new setup, a new way of playing, a new style, a new formation, I would have expected these players to have got on board very quickly. I would have expected these players to already learn this is the way we're going to play. This is the way we're going to perform. This is the way we're going to set up. This is the way we're going to go with. And this is the formation we are not having 4 centre-backs. We're going to go with 3 centre-backs, 2 midfielders, 2 wing-backs and a front 3. The players should have got on board and should have been able to adapt straight away. And it needs to click because it's all right saying it's going to take time. It's going to take time. You know, it's not going to happen straight away. We ain't got time on our sides. And even Amorim has said that himself. We need to be making things happen straight away. And that is what you get from a fucking proper manager who's actually setting targets, who's actually trying to set some standards. Because I think he knows. I think Amorim knows the job he's got in his hands is huge. I think he knows it's a massive opportunity. He knows he thinks he's the right guy. And I believe him. I believe and I will back this manager. I am not going to blame him if it goes wrong. I will blame the players and I will blame Ineos if they allow him to carry on with these set of shitbags. Because I tell you what, there should have been a fucking inquiry into how many of these players got Ten Hag sacked because there's a whole list of them and there's a whole list of them that are going to do it to Amorim. One poor result or one bad result like today, because it's not a good result for Man United. It's not a positive start. It's only a point. And if you sat there as a Man United fan and you sat there as a supporter and you're celebrating a point, get a grip, get real and face reality. This happened under Ten Hag. And if the players are already going to do it to Amorim, we are fucked. We're absolutely screwed. I feel sorry for certain players not getting in that team. I feel sorry for Mount today. I feel sorry for UGARTE. I feel sorry for MAINOO. I feel sorry for the embarrassment of having to bring on Xerxes and HOJLUND on at the same time for Garnacho. Was it for Garnacho? And we put Garnacho off for Mount to come on. We took Rashford off and Eriksen to play Xerxes and HOJLUND up front. We had no fucking front three that could do anything, because how many games has Xerxes gone without a goal? Community Shield, 4 Europa League games, so that's 5. We've then played 2 Carabao Cups, and that's 7. We have now played 12 Premier League games, so that's 12. So that's 19 games without a goal. I mean, to send on Xerxes and HOJLUND on at the same time, I'm actually quite embarrassed. I'm actually quite disgusted that neither one of them started. And again, I personally think Amorim knows that some of these players that are here should have never been brought by the football club, should have never been purchased. And again, he's having to work with them. He's having to use them because the football club hasn't got a fucking clue what it's doing. The football club are trying to set us up here to fail. And I feel sorry for Amorim because, you know, it's his first game. It's going to be a completely different league. The Portuguese league compared to the Premier League is absolute night and day. The level of quality and the intensity and the consistency that is needed in the Prem. This ain't the Portuguese league anymore. And if he thinks he can play the Sporting Lisbon way at Man United, this could be a long haul. This could be quite a long fucking bit of unsuccessfulness again. It really, really could. But I'm not panicking. I'm not worrying. But I'm just deeply, deeply concerned. What's the direction? What's the plan? Where are these players that are going to be transformed? Where are we going to be able to be the best that we can be again? How are we going to be able to produce on the pitch? It bloody worries me because we've got to start hitting the ground early and we've got to start getting results. It's about winning. Like, he's even come out and said we needed to win this game today. Exactly. But that's because we've got a manager that's actually setting standards. But it's unfortunate, again, it's the same players letting him down. It's the same old shitbags that got Ten Hag sacked are still getting a chance. Like, again, what panics me is that Amorim has been told that don't expect a big overhaul. Don't expect much money in January to be spent unless an opportunity presents itself. Well, if that's the case, then good luck to Amorim. Really, really good luck, because I fear for him. I really, really fear for him because I think there's a guy here that can get us to the level we need to be at. And unfortunately, if he's getting told that and he's having to use players that he's had available to him today, then I'm sorry to say we will be here in this exact spot in 2 to 3 years when we have sacked another manager. Because, again, that wasn't good enough today. That was really, really poor. The intensity levels went out the window after we went 1-0 up. We let Ipswich batter us for the rest of the first half, as well as the second half. We hardly create any decent chances on goal. We had 2 through Garnacho. Neither of them go in. The Bruno Fernandes free kick opportunity, like my mum said, that should have gone in. And a quality player like that who can do that, that should have gone in. But I think, you know, if you're going to give anyone any standout today, I think Onana gets player of the match by an absolute fucking mile. I think if he wouldn't have saved a Delap shot in the first half, that would have been 1-1. I think the back heel acrobatic attempt from Delap in the second half, again, who has been left completely unmarked on a penalty area. If that back heel goes in, we are 2-1 down and we're losing to relegation threatened Ipswich. I think Onana has to get the player of the match for those 2 saves because he kept us in the game. By an absolute mile, he kept us in the game. Without those 2 saves and without those 2 moments of keeping Man United in the game, if either of them go in, we would have lost this game 3-1 to Ipswich. It would have been a disaster. But I can't celebrate a point because I want to win every game. And I don't think this is a good enough start. I fear for Amorim. I really, really have to start thinking, I want this to work and we can't wait. We need an instant impact. We need instant results. We need points. We need wins. We can't be drawing against Ipswich. Like, for fuck's sake, it's been a shit weekend again. United have ruined, didn't they? But it's finished. Ipswich Town, Man United won, and that's the latest. So I hope you enjoyed this live reaction. Please hit the like button, the share button. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, which is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember the notification bell. Put the bell on all times so you receive dedicated and upcoming brand new content in the last week of November next week, and then in the last month of 2024 in December next weekend as well. We've got brand new videos, shorts, live streams planned for you for the rest of this year, and we've got many brand new ideas and content that we're going to bring in 2025. And then obviously we are back in action against Bodo Glimt of Norway in the Europa League on match day 5 of the new league format on Thursday night, and we're going to try and do the look ahead for that game on tomorrow evening, because I just don't have any other time to fit it in. So join me for that tomorrow evening, where we'll be looking at the Bodo Glimt game for Man United at Old Trafford on Thursday night in the Europa League, where again it's another must-win game, and Amram has got to start winning games. So enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day, enjoy your Sunday evening, stay safe, be nice, be kind, each other. You're all legends, and I'll see you all on the next one.